Welcome to the Toucan Talks podcast, brought to you by Kickstart Collective. Join us as we talk to local Wilmington business owners about what has led to their successes, challenges, and more. No question is off limits as we bounce from topic to topic.
And this podcast is brought to you by Kickstart Studios. Kickstart Studios is Wilmington's newest video podcast studio. Equipped with multiple camera angles and an in-house producer, creating a high-quality video podcast has never been easier. Don't let the tech and gear learning curve hold you back from jumping into podcasting or created video content any longer. Our team takes care of it all for you so you can focus on the message you want to share. You simply show up, record, and receive the final product. No more wasting time setting it up and breaking down the gear, setting up lights, or doing sound checks on your own. Our in-house producer will have everything set up and ready to go for you. Check us out at Kickstart Studios.
This minisode for Toucan Talks is from a recent webinar that we did on creating a marketing roadmap for Q4. So this is a little section out of that. If you guys want to listen to the entire webinar, you are welcome to head over to our blog, our marketing resources on our website, and you can get access to the full episode. So we hope you enjoy. When you're building out a campaign, this is kind of the things you need to do in terms of getting started. So, like we were talking about, the first one is going to be knowing your business goals. So let's just take this on like a quarterly basis, because I think that is easy to talk about and it's a good time frame for you to run a campaign, but it's not too long to where it's going to get, tired out. You need to define what your most important business goals or objectives are for the upcoming quarter or season or whatever it is. And then from there, you can align that to what you need, like on the marketing side, but knowing for it to be effective, which is what we want, you need to know from your business, what are you trying to achieve? And then next is defining your ideal customer. So if you registered for this webinar, you have a lovely worksheet to take you through that. So I don't know, Elsa, do you want to talk a little bit about the customer
audience
side?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of information that you can go through to dial that in and figure it out. But you do want to get specific. You can start out with demographics, but then you also want to go through their behaviors, their interests, their pain points and their needs. Like, what do you have that what problem do they have that you can solve for them? How can you help them? And just get that as specific as possible, like to where you imagine one person. Yeah. Like, oh, this is my ideal customer. And then just expand.
To go back for a second, if we're looking at this within a quarter, we're not asking define your ideal customer for your whole business. We're asking in this quarter, if you're pushing to sell like a service, let's say, for example, like a plumbing service or a, HVAC service, hey, it's summertime. There's going to be a lot of HVAC systems that are breaking down. So we really need to push our service. So what does our service, customer look like? So that's where we're going to identify those people. So it helps to look at it in smaller chunks. That way we're not just, because your business may, service lots of different people, lots of tons of different demographics. Kind of all over the place. But if you are looking at it in these smaller chunks, then you're able to narrow it down a little easier.
For sure.
Yeah. So then once you've defined your goals or whatever the, service or product is you're wanting to push for that next quarter, the customer that is perfect for what you have to offer specific to that, then comes the fun part, which is aligning your content. So again, depending on the business, this can mean a lot of different things, which is fun. But you need to know that audience, what's going to resonate with them, and then where are they? If it's, on social, if it's a TV ad, if it's print, whatever that is, and then start thinking through your content in terms of that. So this is where a lot of the creativity comes in. This is where we like to include our creative director. So we're going to dive into content, like more specifically next on slide number 6. which is align your content.
Can I just say I haven't, you're seeing, are we on that slide, Josh?
Slide number 6.
Yeah, I haven't seen Sam with a beard like that in a while. So
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
a little shocked.
you know, what's the value? So
Of the beard?
of
A
the
lot.
beard, there's a lot of value in that beard.
A lot. I know. Hey, well, winter is coming. Sam, grow the beard.
So when you're thinking about aligning your content, obviously your business goals and your customers' needs need to be aligned. And it needs to provide value. And we'll jump into like what is value in just a second for your customer. But this is a portion where if you're maybe not right now, but if you're taking notes to go back and do this and just brainstorm like 5 to 10 different content angles that would resonate with your target audience for this season, and to be specific. So is that some sort of, download white paper, very specific to your industry and like current trends? If you're thinking of like for this quarter, is there like an end of the year recap you could do? Is there like projections of some sort looking into 2024? Is it a tool? Is it a webinar? Like what is the content that in the topics that would resonate? And then once you have, 5 to 10 of those, then narrow it down to what's going to be most valuable for your audience in this specific season. So hopefully step 1, all those should be related to your business anyways. So then you're going to take it a step further and be like, okay, what is valuable? So what is value to your customer is going to vary.
A lot.
So that is why when we put mess hall's image up here, because it's one that from our perspective, based on the business, it might be tool or white paper or a webinar, like very in-depth content that your customer needs, or they just might need to be entertained.
Well, can I just go over a few different things?
We're gonna do like this is example time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
this is
we'll break it down for a few different kinds of businesses. It's not going to include everyone's business, but let's take, for example, the bearded man on the screen here. If we're still on that. Yeah. So we got Sam, we got Mess Hall. Mess Hall is a restaurant. They sell burgers, they sell chicken sandwiches, they sell tots. They sell breakfast. Milkshakes. Absolutely. But for their customer base, which is broad, right? It's broad. There's anyone from a 16-year-old to a 65-year-old going there to get a burger, but they're not directly they're not selling like a service where they're coming out to your house. They're not selling like a disposable like plastic product. They're selling food. So their main thing is getting people interested in what they're doing. So the way we get people interested in what they're doing is like with their brand, what aligns really well is like comedy. So we do stuff like that just people find entertaining, because we just want to get people to say, oh, cool, that's Mess Hall. Look, they made this funny thing that has to do with milkshakes all over, a bunch of shirtless guys. If you haven't seen that, check it out.
And then they see them in public and they're like,
wait,
I know
who's
you
that?
somewhere.
I think you're from somewhere, but you have a shirt on right now. It's kind of odd. So anyways, for them, entertainment value is huge because it's just capturing people's attention. Now let's move to like maybe someone in the real estate industry. They're working with individual buyers of houses or individual buyers of, commercial properties or whatever it is. So really what they want to do through their content is educate people. They basically want to express like, hey, I can educate you because I am a market professional. So it's a little different angle because I don't assume real estate agents are going to be wanting to make videos of them dumping milkshakes onto their heads. I don't know. Maybe
it's part of their brand.
Unless it's part of their brand. Yeah. We'll do it. We'll make those videos. But what's going to be found more valuable for their client is going to be education. And then one more time, let's go with maybe you're selling a product that you can buy offline. So this is going to be really important to grab someone's attention quickly and express like, what is this product? Why do I need this product? What problem does this product solve for me? So that's going to be way more into the ROI thing rather than just getting people's attention. So you can do, with the specific, campaigns, you can do it a lot of different ways, but it's really important to sit down and think like, hey, who broadly is my customer base? And then within this campaign, what's going to work best. Did I explain that okay?
Yeah, you did great.
Okay.
Thanks for sharing.
Y'all can just y'all can tell me if I did it wrong.
No, you're good. I think we're gonna get to, I don't know if it's the next slide or a few slides. Oh no, it's next one. Talking about taking that and like building out the funnels, which I think is what you were kind of getting to at the end.
We're getting there.
Getting there. But yes, back to, the content side, you're going to narrow it down. And then from there is where you actually have to put the creative into action, and
we got to put a plan together and create it.
Yes. And then you got to distribute it. So ultimately, the goal in most cases, unless it's just purely brand awareness, which is a good goal. And a lot of times that needs to, for a quarter, that might be what you need to do. But ultimately, eventually we want these campaigns to generate leads. And again, and this will help drive the content and the campaign strategy itself. But you have to think from your business perspective, like, what do you consider a lead? Is that an email capture? Is that someone filling in a contact form? Is that somebody walking into your store?
Picking up the phone.
Sending
an email.
Yeah. Like, you need to know, like, what do you consider a lead? Because if you don't know that, then you don't know.
It's hard for us. And it's hard for us to send you something if we don't know what to send.
Or even if you're doing it yourself, like, you need to connect the dots from, okay, what am I putting out there on social or email or wherever? How is, like, if it's not clear for you, then it is not going to be clear for that person to make that next step. Would you?
I'm just pushing the mic closer to your mouth.
Do you not know where you want my hands? So what do you consider a lead? And then what contact information do you need? Do you need, again, phone number, email, or do you just need that body walking into your store? You don't necessarily need a contact info, but hey, if you capture their email address or, give them something, great. And then from there, the medium and channel that's going to resonate best with your audience. So we kind of talked about this on the previous slide, but that might be a webinar. It might be some sort of lead magnet. It could be a blog post with, a email capture. It could just be a really good social media post with then some clear call to action for the next step for them to take to become more of a lead than just a follower on social. So lead gen, anything you want to add on that?
Yeah, I think it goes back to, you also have to know where they are, because if your audience isn't really using social media or online, you might have to go a more traditional route. But if they are only online, going a traditional route might not work. Yeah. So
that's true.
Gotta know where they're at.
Yeah, know where they're at.
Mailers. We're only doing mailers from here on out.
Only going back. We've done direct mail a few times actually.
Yeah.
Lately. Yeah. Which I think, this is a segue, but paired with, and again, I lean more on the digital side just with my life and experience and credentials. But anyways, paired with a strong digital marketing strategy, I think direct mail.
It works.
It works.
They're fun to design too.
They're fun to design.
I like them.
Yeah. So direct mail could be an option too. I left off postcards on your channel and medium.
Good thing I'm here.
Gosh. Okay. So when you're thinking through your content that you're creating, I think people that have like a sales background, this might come slightly more naturally in terms of building out funnels.
But for people like me, explain it like I'm 5.
I feel like you understand funnels.
Maybe
you better.
I'm just trying to be I'm just trying to be helpful here.
We're getting there. So basically, whether it's a marketing funnel or a sales funnel, ideally they would align, but you're going to have your top of funnel. And these are going to be I'm going to call them audiences for the sake of marketing lingo, but your cold audiences. They could also be cold leads. These are people who might not have ever heard of you. They might not have ever heard of your brand, your service, your product. If you have a common product or service, likely they've heard of that. If it's something new, they might have no idea. And so when you're building content for them, this is going back to like that main goal might just be awareness. They might just need to be introduced to who you are, what you offer. But there's no real ask from those people. So you don't want to be like, hey, here's who we are, buy this right now, to people who've never heard of you before. Like if I walked up to you and I was like, I do marketing, like here's a package for $5,000. I want you to sign this. You're gonna be like, no, I don't like you. Like that's weird. So don't do that. Don't do that online.
Maybe.
maybe
tip.
you like, I've been
That only-
stalking you and you just, I know you need
No, that
marketing.
only happens
But-
when you come well referred.
Yes. Which in that case would ideally not be a cold audience.
Correct.
So that would be warm or even hot. But at that point, you're either letting them know about something, you're providing them some sort of valuable content. Again, that could be a blog post, that could be a
Video,
a
educational
educational video, podcast, even a really good social media post that has
something
good
educational.
or just
Entertaining.
entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Milkshakes
Milkshake.
on guys.
Or milkshakes on a bunch of dudes that work at
I'm going to go back to that like example like 5 times.
How can we forget?
No one will ever forget that if they saw it.
Yes, you'll never forget.
Yeah,
that
if you
campaign.
haven't seen it, go to Mess Hall's Instagram so you know what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
scroll back.
Shout out at Mess Hall ILM.
Yes.
But I mean, I feel like that actually, I know we weren't planning on talking about that specifically, but is a good case study.
It's a good
for
example
talking
for
about
this
the funnel.
specifically. Yeah.
So that piece of content, it is educational. It is even for people that follow them that aren't totally aware that they sell milkshakes.
Yeah.
That video itself, which was the bulk of that campaign, was awareness.
Yep.
And then middle of the funnel, and I'll explain that, and then we can tie milkshakes back into this. These are your warm audience. So they know who you are. They know what you offer. They're familiar with you. So you can start talking a little bit more about how you are going to kind of introduce where your product or service jumps in as introduce the need, whatever. And that's okay to have a small ask or call to action on that. So at that point, you might capture like an email address, or you might say, hey, go to my website to learn more about this service or whatever. It's okay at that point because they're familiar with you to have something that kind of drives them closer to making a purchase decision. So in this case, if we go back to
We'll just use the same example. Sorry, everyone. If you're tired about hearing milkshake,
go get a milkshake. With that video, we are also running Facebook and Instagram ads. And there was a
email capture. Yep.
Mhm.
We set this up together. You're gonna talk about this.
Yeah.
My brain. There was an email capture for
Yeah, there was
something.
an
Discount.
offer
Sort of-
for a discount for a milkshake.
Discount
Yeah.
coupon for
Yes.
milkshake.
Yeah, kind of like an incentive to get people to want to sign up for it.
Yes. Yeah. So you give us your email or give them your email address, and then you get the coupon essentially emailed. So that's a small ask. It's an ask for an email address. It's not like we are asking you to walk into Mess Hall and buy, 10 burgers to get
A
a
milkshake.
milkshake or something.
And you get something of value from it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. So there's value, which is definitely an important thing, is if you're asking someone for contact information or whatever it is, there needs to be value. And something I was thinking about just in general is even if you are offering like a free download or a free webinar or whatever, there still needs, just because it's free, there still needs to be value associated to that. Because, for example, if you're watching this, you're taking, about an hour of your life to watch this. So if it doesn't have any value for you, even if it's free, it's not valuable. So you got to think through those things, especially as you lean more into capturing like a lead. So your bottom of your funnel, that audience is hot.
Narrowest part of the funnel.
It's smaller.
Some would say.
Yes. It's literally
Bottom.
It's literally a
think of it
funnel.
So you're taking people from your warm audience and pushing them towards you as the solution, the answer to whatever need they're having, whether that's a new HVAC unit, or they need a milkshake because it's hot, or whatever it is. You are the solution. At that point, you're capturing the lead. Depending if it's e-commerce, that is going to be your purchase. At that point, for service-based businesses, sometimes that's like a actual hot lead. So yeah, in this case, and sometimes this especially will start to move off of purely online if you're not an online business.
Yeah, that may be scheduling an appointment, making a call to schedule an appointment for if you're like a service provider or any kind of industry where you're like in-person service. It might be just literally picking up the phone and say, hey, like I'd like to get a free consultation, or I'd like you to come out and quote my roof.
Yeah. Or I'm gonna walk into your restaurant and use this incentive that I got to actually purchase the milkshake.
Exactly.
And hopefully some tots and a burger with it. But
hey, maybe just a milkshake.
All you gotta do is get a milkshake. So just as you're thinking about your content that you're building out, like where is that core piece of content going to fit in this funnel? And then how are you going to move people down and provide more and more value until ultimately they need to pay for whatever it is you're providing? So free and valuable is good, but at some point you got to create a need.
And it's real, just to kind of tie back with like the very beginning, it's important that we're really specific on our audiences for this, because the goal is to narrow down who is a good fit, for your business. You're not trying to take a person that is way outside your demographic and squeeze them down the funnel. Like that's not going to work. They're going to bail out in the middle of the funnel. So that's why it's really important to find that audience properly at the beginning of the whole process.
Yeah, for sure. And I think especially if we're thinking about this in terms of like quarterly campaigns or campaigns that aren't yearly, the more specific you get with the audience, the more specific the content is specific to that person's like need or pain point, then the quicker you're going to push them down this funnel. And you have to be realistic too. Like, is your sales process 3 months?
Yeah.
In which case, start today.
Yeah.
Start thinking today.
I mean, each business has a different buying cycle.
Yeah.
If it's food, it could be instant.
Yeah.
It'd be the same day. If it's e-commerce, it could be same day.
Yeah.
But if it's a roof that's going to cost you $25,000, they're probably not just going to click through that day. So
it also saves you as like the marketer time, money, effort when you do make it specific. Because if you don't, you kind of just like cast in a wide net, hoping that you catch something. Don't know if you will.
Yeah.
Right.
But when it's specific, it saves you money, saves you time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the difference between talking to a bunch of people in your middle of the funnel warm audience versus people that are hot audiences or leads. And ideally too, you've educated them at some level. So there's less time in explaining that you have to make. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Toucan Talks, brought to you by Kickstart Collective. If you loved this episode, be sure to subscribe wherever you watch podcasts, and follow Kickstart Collective on Instagram at Kickstart Collective.